curb your Buster Posey enthusiasm, everybody. I hate to say it. This guy might be an empty suit executive. Now, we'll see. He's got just his first year, but here are his moves. I would like to congratulate the San Francisco Giants on some self-awareness because Lamont Wade Jr. was DFA'd. I think someone else also went off too. Was it
Sam Huff, who was a better linebacker than a catcher? But yeah, Sam Huff, and then Christian Koss, it's symbolic of the lack of organizational depth. I don't know what the hell he was doing here, but he got optioned out as well. So 3 guys, and then Dominic Smith, who is a failed first-round pick of the Mets, is the guy that apparently is going to replace, at least in the short term, Lamont Wade Jr.
Are they going to plop him in like double or triple A for the while, or is he like in the lineup tonight?
I bet he's in the lineup tonight because he opted out of his deal. He had a June 1st opt-out with the Yankees, and he was a first-round pick in 2013 of the Mets, bounced around to a bunch of teams. In fact, I texted Kevin Franzen this morning because his best season in the majors was 2023, 12 home runs, 46 RBIs with like a 692 OPS and a 254 batting average with Washington in 2023. And the only thing Franny texted me back is, listen to him talk. It's funny. So if that's his best attribute, that's a problem. But you can see this on the surface. What's happening is it's too early to trade. Buster isn't calling. People are calling him because the most needed position of any position in all of baseball is the Giants at first base. So people are calling and they're offering ridiculous deals. Give us Hayden Birdsong, and we'll give you Chris Mountcastle or whatever the hell he is with Baltimore, Ryan Mountcastle. Like, they're terrible deals. And so Buster's like, okay, I can't trade yet. So what are we going to do? They've tried every internal option, not going to work. Then they go and they make this move finally, and it's too late. They waited too long on Lamont Wade Jr., and they might be out of the race because of it. And now they bring in Dom Smith. He's going to fall on his face. And then on July 1st, it'll be Rice Eldridge time. So that's the pecking. And then if he doesn't work, then it's going to be fine. It's going to be time for a trade, but at least they won't get completely ripped off in the trade.
So there's a part of me that agrees with you. There's the timing says an awful lot about how smart of a team you are. The Giants have a ton of pitching.
They do.
I mean, they really. What did I saw? I saw from Bonte. Let me see if I can just quickly bring this up here. I saw something from Bonte. It was last night. He came out with a tweet that made me go, like, you got to do better than that. I'll find it here in a second. But basically, the Giants have so much pitching and so little hitting that right now I qualify them as they're going to miss the wild card by a game and a half. This has missed the postseason by a game and a half, 3 games written all over them. And that makes me think, what do they have, 57, 58 days to the trade deadline? Mm-hmm. Maybe you do try to beat everybody to marketplace. Maybe you do, only because the 2 or 3 games that one more bat could help you win right now. They need that bat today, not 57 days from now, right? And they've got all this pitching, which means it is a surplus to work from. I don't want to include Birdsong, but there are other names that I think packaged could get you, an impact bat. I almost want to put that in air quotes because the impact bat for the Giants is just like, oh, the guy's going to hit somewhere around 260 with 15 more home runs this year. Like that would be great for the Giants. They'll take that right now. I think Buster needs to get a little more aggressive, or he needs to say what we got in house is not working, and he needs to let his buddy Pat Burrell go.
Period. You're 100% right on that. You know what? Man, there's a lot of great stuff that you just said right there. Well, here's the thing. I love Pat Burrell. Both of us have had him on shows before. He's a hell of a great guy. Everybody knows about the Chris Rose thing, hilarious with Brian Wilson, all that. Pat Burrell's a great guy. But the thing is, when all the bats are struggling, if one bat's struggling or 2 bats are struggling, okay. But everybody's struggling outside of Ramos and Flores. That's it. Everybody else is struggling right now. So what happens is that he's by Buster Posey in the front office. They're trying to turn, lemons into lemonade. They can't. And so what's happened is that they need a new voice. It's really that simple. When everybody's struggling, it's not Pat Burrell's fault. But first of all, they need a new voice. So along with what they did today in DFAing Lamont Wade Jr., they should have let Pat Burrell go, even though he's a good guy. And even though it's not his fault, because they just need a new voice. In terms of the trades, I agree with you 100%. They are wasting I'm not going to call it historic pitching because it's not that. But in May, they had a 2.54 ERA for their bullpen. They had a 2.77 ERA for their starters, and they went 13-14. This is great pitching, and Birdsong's just going to get better in the 3 spot. Ray and Webb are all-star types. And if Verlander at 42 can even be a 4th starter, and what Roop did last night is a 5th starter, and you've got it. The guy to me who could get you that bat, and he could do it right now, and I know you don't want to give him, you don't want to let him go, is Kyle Harrison. I like Harrison, but he's a 2-pitch guy. I think he's going to be ultimately a reliever. I really like him. So before his value goes completely kaput, trade him to the A's for Brent Rooker and put Rooker in left and put Ramos in right. Like Mike Yastrzemski. Here's where I get pissed. Mike Yastrzemski's been doing this for years, and he's 34 years old. Got news for you. He ain't changing. So that's on the Giants, not on Mike Yastrzemski. He's a 4th outfielder, really nice defensive player. But he's 3 for his last 44, man.
Right.
Right. So you need right. So you're having trouble at first base. You've got a plan there. What's your plan in right field for when Mike Yastrzemski inevitably goes what he's doing? 3 for his last 44, but he's a good defender. Okay, Patrick Bailey is a non-bat. Now you got a non-bat in right. You got a non-bat at first, and somehow Tyler Fitzgerald forgot to hit with power, and Willie Adames sucks ass. And so all of a sudden, and Chapman's Chapman. What are you going to do? You have 2 bats in your lineup. So Yastrzemski's one, but that's not on Yastrzemski. He is what he is. Did they think that they were going to bang their head against the wall and he was going to change? Or Lamont Wade Jr. was going to change? Like, they're just too slow in the way that they're reacting. But to me, Kyle Harrison is the name because I like the guy. But the reality is, I think Birdsong has passed him. I think Wisenhunt may have passed him. You've got that. Plus, you can always sign pitching in San Francisco. Like, you lose a Harrison, they're all afraid that it's going to be Zach Wheeler for Carlos Beltran in 2011. Like, that's, oh my God, is it going to be the next Zach Wheeler? Do you want to win? You have pitching that is as good as any, and you have the best bullpen in baseball, even though Duvall blew it last night. The pitching is too good to sit on your hands and do nothing with your bats. Just too good.
The tweet from Bonte was that since May 16th, Giants starters have produced an ERA of 1.69, yet they have an 8-8 record with a 1.69 starter ERA. Now, Duvall was a leaky oil can last night. Otherwise, he's been pretty damn lights out. The problem was, did you hear the Dwayne Kuiper FU last night? Dwayne at the top, if you watched last night's Giants game, top of the 9th inning, it was top of the 8th, bottom of the 8th inning, bottom of the 8th, the Giants had a 5-pitch 1-2-3 inning where they went down on 5 pitches. And you're scrapping against the Padres here. You have not beaten the Padres yet this year. You just had a brutal loss to them the night before. Can we have any plate discipline? Can there be a single solid grinded out at bat? No, they went down in 5 pitches. And then Dwayne Kuiper says 5 pitches, which is the equivalent of these guys coming out of Dwayne Kuiper. That can't happen. And again, look, is Pat Burrell or anybody working with the New York Yankees lineup here? No. But these at-bats aren't competitive enough when you have inferior talent. Like, here's the thing. The best thing you can do with inferior talent isn't produce like a monster at the plate, but just have a competitive at-bat. Make that pitcher work a little bit. And these guys aren't doing it across the board, up and down the lineup, whether you say that guy's good or that guy's bad. Uncompetitive at-bats all the time from this team. And look, John, it is unfair to say reach verdict on anyone when they're not even halfway through their first year. Curb your Buster Posey enthusiasm, everybody. I hate to say it. This guy might be an empty suit executive. Now, we'll see. It's just his first year, but here are his moves. And you can say, well, it's Zach Manassian is now the GM. This is all Buster. Yeah. Buster gave the largest contract in the history of the San Francisco Giants to Willie Adames. That made everybody in Milwaukee fall off their bar stool laughing. Dude, I knew that Willie Adames sucked because I watch a lot of Cubs baseball, and he didn't scare you in one at bat, not never. His production was a product of playing in the hitter-friendly Miller ballpark, and bringing him here is basically cutting his stats in half. And look at what the guy's doing. He's hitting 206 with 5 home runs, 7 years, $185 million. It's a disaster. His next big move was bringing in Justin Verlander, who is back throwing off a bullpen, and that's good news, I guess. But he is deeper into the season without finding a win than he ever has been. His ERA, very pedestrian. The 2 big moves have gone totally belly up. Big extension for Matt Chapman. I'm fine with that. That guy's a major leaguer. I'm fine. Matt Chapman can have an 0 for 4 and still win you a game with that glove at third. I'm good with Matt Chapman. No problems there. No complaints. This is the same team we've been watching every fucking year for the last 3 years. Nothing changes what they do, how they behave, and the whole breaking out of spring training with, it's Buster Ball. It was Buster Ball for about a month. And then Major League Baseball gets its book on how to cook you, and the Giants have just been way pedestrian here. I think they need to move way before the deadline. I do. I know you said it'd be silly to give up Birdsong. I agree with you there, but getting aggressive and adding that bat now, I think is something that they have to do, because the talent around them is way too good to keep up with when you got a 4-cylinder engine. You're racing against the 8-cylinder Dodgers, the 6-cylinder Padres, and you are sitting there with a Honda Civic just chugging away. It's got to be better.
Well, you can't waste this pitching. I mean, that's what it comes down to is, bullpens from year to year. Who knows? I mean, the 2021 bullpen was absolutely great. They fell apart the next year. I don't know what Duvall is going to be next year. I don't know what Walker is going to be. I don't know any of these guys are going to be. From year to year, bullpens fluctuate. So when you have the best bullpen in baseball, that's huge. The first 2 guys in your starting rotation are money. Your third guy, I think, is going to be Birdsong. And if they leave him alone and don't have him looking over his shoulder of whether he's going to get knocked out of the rotation, then I think you got a 3. And then it fluctuates all the time. Roop looks like a really solid 4. Maybe Verlander can be a 5. If he is, then you have great pitching depth and you can make a move. Plus, the other thing, like you talked about, look, the Dodgers already won the division. All right, now you're dealing with the Mets, the Braves, the Phillies. The biggest problem is, and then you go to the Central, and then, of course, you just talked about the West. The problem becomes, because of that third wild card, which can benefit you in one way, it hurts you in the other, because I was looking at this the other day. There's 6 teams right now that are hopelessly out of it, right? There's 6 teams. It's Colorado, it's the White Sox, it's the Orioles, it's the A's. Those are the teams that are hopelessly out of it. Now you look at their rosters, there's a reason why they're shit, because they don't have any good players. Now, a thought would be on the White Sox. Okay, let's look at Andrew Vaughn, the former Cal Bear. He's hitting like 189. Let's look at Luis Robert. He's hitting 177. Let's look at Ryan McMahon. He's hitting like 206. Like, all these guys are underachieving, which is why those teams are bad. You're looking at like a Ryan Mountcastle of the Orioles or something like that until you get deeper into this process. So Buster's going to tell you, man, it's really hard. I don't care. I'm with you on that. I don't care how hard it is. And I don't care if you don't want to have another Zach Wheeler on your hands. You can't waste pitching this good. So what are you going to do when Dom Smith inevitably falls on his face, because that's what he's done for his entire career after being a first-round pick of the Mets in 2013? Is your move really Bryce Eldridge is going to come in and save the day as a 20-year-old? Is that your move? And that's where I'll back you on the Buster thing is great player, great guy, but you've got to differentiate as a total different person to say, has he succeeded? Because their thought process was coming in, we're just going to do it again. Lamont Wade Jr. I didn't expect him to hit 167, but I knew he wasn't good. I knew that Mike Yastrzemski was a 4th outfielder. There's a theory that I like to say, the if game. If your team has a bunch of ifs, you suck in any sport. It was if first base, if second base, if catcher, if left field, if center field, if right field. That was all their ifs offensively. Flores has been a pleasant surprise, and Ramos has backed up the first half of last season as a real player. Short of that, every other if has essentially, and Chapman's Chapman. But when you get too many, well, Chapman's in there for defense, and Bailey's in there for defense, and Yaz is in there for defense. Who's going to hit? Right. How about no one?
Right. That's when you have a team that has struggled to score more than 3
right.
runs.
So that's the front office, though, right? That's what we're just saying is you had this idea that Wade was going to be different and Yaz was going to be different and, Lee was going to be up to the contract. He got off to a great start, but not anymore. Yaz got off to a great start, not anymore. That Bailey was going to be better somehow hitting. Like you went into this season thinking this was going to happen, knowing that the Dodgers, Diamondbacks, and Padres in your own division were this good. and that you look at the East and they're that good, and the Mets just worked the Dodgers. And, I don't know if the Central's going to be outside of the Cubs with their great offense. They're going to be looking for pitching. But the reality is you knew this was going to happen, and you allowed it. And this is a major market team. We are not the A's. We are not the Twins. We are not the White Sox. We're not the Brewers. I wish we were the Brewers. But the reality of it is it's not acceptable to be doing what the Giants are doing. It's not acceptable to every single year be an embarrassment. And, I hope we can make the playoffs. What is that?
Right.
Every single year, that's what it is. Like success would be getting into the wild card game. That's not success for a major market like this.
Right. Again, I thought you were trying to become a team that won World Series like regularly. And it has not been. Here's the other thing that I'm concerned about. Buster is only hiring friends and family.
Yeah, it's a bad recipe.
Yeah, it really, really is. Now, I'm not here to render any judgment on Manazian yet as the GM. How much power he really has is to be debated. We got V-Rock here saying Farhan did nothing. Actually, Farhan gave you the three best players on this team: Robbie Ray, Jung-Hoo Lee, and Matt Chapman. I mean, what would the Giants be without the three? He
stole Robbie Ray.
Yeah.
You got to get. I mean, look, did he ultimately have success? I'm pretty shocked. ESPN the other day called the Giants farm system 29th, and I thought that was something he was going to fix, and he didn't. I mean, you can rip him for a lot of different things, but like you said, getting Robbie Ray for Mitch Haniger is honestly, right now is one of the best moves the Giants have made in 20 years.
No doubt.
Honestly.
No doubt. Look, Farhan certainly had his problems. I thought Farhan, he was really good around the margins. Where he sucked was right in the center of the picture. Mm-hmm. Like, that's the problem. But Farhan did put the best players on this roster, on this team this year. I will give him that. The Giants are basically Chapman, Ramos, Flores, Jung-Hoo Lee, and then three quality starters with Logan Webb, Robbie Ray, Birdsong. I really like Randy Rodriguez. I really like Camilo Duvall. Kyle Harrison, very interesting, but like you said, could be a trade prospect based on what you hoped and what you got. It'll be interesting to see what the Giants do here. They're right on the balance beam of they could have a good year, or they could fall off and the June swoon just takes them right down the toilet.